Your starting pitcher, number 5, Mr. Corbin Burns. You can obviously talk about it. We seem to have found the cutter a little bit in the second part of the season. And then I'm also curious for you as a pending free agent, if you believe that your ranking could at all change depending on where he goes, or Burns is Burns and it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, generally when it comes to elite free agents, you don't really change the ranking because unless they go to cores, which they won't, they will be on a winning team for the most part. They're going to be willing to spend that kind of dime. And generally, there isn't going to be a park that's going to sway them massively. The only one I consider in the past is maybe Cincinnati Reds, but they really haven't made that
Mhm.
kind of signing. And it's not like he's going to go to the Pirates or another team that likely isn't going to win a ton of games. So sorry, Pittsburgh fans. I really hope I wait for the day that you guys make it. But then I have a whole thing about it's actually good for baseball that the Yankees and the Dodgers are there because they spend a lot of money and they make it to the World Series. And that's how it should
Yeah,
be. Because maybe then other owners will spend the
we'll
money
do the same thing.
if
Yes.
you have teams always spending 40 million to 80 million and making the World Series, and they're not going to spend more than that. So there's something to be said about that. But Corbin Burns, I'm not concerned about where he lands. What I really like about him is that he actually went back to the old cutter. At
Mhm.
least he tweaked it finally in September. The entire season, doing the SP Roundup. If you don't know, I do this article every single day of the season, reviewing all 30 starters of that day and about what to do moving forward with them. I saw that Corbin Burns was throwing this 95, 96 mile per hour cutter that didn't have exactly the amount of drop it used to have. And it was getting up too much. It wasn't as low and sneaky at the bottom of the zone until September, where he took off a tick of that cutter, but then got more drop than it's ever had. It moved about 5 inches more than it was previously that year and was landing low more often as well. And all of a sudden, Corbin Burns had this incredible September. And I believe that is the guy we're going to see. So you're going to look at the 23% strikeout rate and go, Nick, you shouldn't expect more than 200 strikeouts here. This is ridiculous. I say, no. I think Corbin Burns made a tweak that is going to be there next year. And that strikeout rate should be closer to 30% than it should be 20% in
Mhm.
2025. I'm a big fan of this. Meanwhile, the whip has always been down. 110 was the high since 2019 for Corbin
Yeah.
Burns. 292 ERA as well. And it all just checks out to me that Corbin Burns with the improved cutter should be back in business in 2025.
Yeah, we've seen some ebbs and flows from him before where he has to figure something out and does and goes on strong runs. And so there's an expectation that the correction he made in the second, or not even the second half, just in the final months of
Yeah.
this season, should carry over into the next season as well. I'm with you on Corbin Burns as a top 5 starting pitcher.